It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today we've got a really special beer to show you on the channel. It's by Hackney Church Brew Co. It's in a 750 milliliter bottle and it's their core. This beer is coming in at 5.3% ABV, 750 milliliter bottle. As we mentioned before, we've got an orange bottle cap. Now this is a really interesting beer because, well, first and foremost, let's get it out into a glass and see what we get. Now generally, I'm not a cider fan at all. So anything really kind of apple alcoholic based, I'm not really a fan of. But I tried some of this at the brewery. So let's get the description first. It's £12 a bottle for a 750 milliliter bottle. Now, for the time and the effort that's gone into this, it's a pretty decent price actually. If you think of apples from Hackney, wild yeast, of course, from Hackney, all put together with a beer wort in a fermentation vessel, left outside. I've seen the vessel myself with my own eyes. It was great to see. It really was great to see. I'll explain all in a moment, but yeah, let's look at the beer. We got a 1 finger white head on this. Good levels of carbonation on this one. 5.3% ABV. Light amber colour. Little bit of haze in there. Not much in the way of sediment. But let's get the aroma on the beer then. Oh, it's such a... It's just so unusual to get your nose into a beer like this. Because part of the aroma is screaming apples at you, but then part of the aroma is screaming beer at you, and there's almost like this balsamic vinegar, spicy, peppery aroma that hits you too. Well, most definitely, there's a sort of a balsamic vinegar. So it might make you a little bit hesitant when you put this beer near your nose and you're thinking, ooh, what is this? But you shouldn't. You should just get in like this. Cheers, everybody. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable because there's so much going on. Again, beer first. You definitely get the grain coming through. Lots of carbonation. Lots of carbonation pushes that beer around the inside of the mouth. But then you're sort of left with this, as I mentioned earlier, this kind of sort of apple stroke balsamic vinegar stroke wild. You definitely get that kind of wild fermentation taste. You definitely get that kind of idea that a wort. So they've got it to the stage of wort. They've transferred the wort outside into an outside vessel in their beer garden. So you're literally sitting there in the beer garden with this vessel by the side of you. And you can smell it. When I went out into their beer garden a few weeks ago, you could smell it. Unfortunately, by that stage, the beer has passed its best. You kind of lifted the lid and you get your nose, and it was too far gone at this stage. There was still some in there. But what they bottled is magnificent. So what they did, they transferred all of this wort out from their fermenter, from their vessels into the beer garden, into this outside vessel, and they dropped a load of local Hackney apples, locally picked Hackney apples, into this vessel, and they simply closed the lid and seen what would happen. And what happened was this: the apples kind of soaked into the beer. It was just kind of wild fermentation. Because on the outside of the apple skin, there's a lot of yeast. There's yeast in the air as well. So all of that, if you think of that sweet solution, if you like, that sweet wort sitting in that tank, and then you add the apples with all the yeast on the outside, on the apple skin, added into that brew, then you're just left with this kind of chance for this beer to, you're giving it the best chance, aren't you, to ferment and to produce all of these. They are a little bit weird, they are very wonderful sort of beer here. I can't work out if it's a cider or a beer, but I love it for that. I love it for that because it's just different. It's probably one of the most unusual. This is like traveling to Belgium. This is like having some kind of turning up at some wild, wacky, out there Belgian brewer who's whacked a load of cherries into a fermenting vessel and done the same thing, just left the beer go. And in Belgium they leave the beer go for years and years and years. I don't know how long Hackney Church left this in the fermentation vessel in the beer garden at the brewery, but if you go there probably in the next few weeks, after you've watched this video, you can probably ask to open that kind of vessel and see what's inside, and they'll probably gladly show you. I love that crisp carbonation, the little bit of kind of wheat malt that's coming through, the quite understandable kind of apple presence that's in here. It's definitely an apple beer cider hybrid. It's quite wonderful, quite wonderful. Let's pour some more. You can pick this up from the website, Hackney Church's website. Let's see if there's any sediment that makes its way to the bottom of the glass. So you can see now it got slightly hazier as we got more of the beer in the glass. It's such an interesting drink. It really is. Do I like it? Do I like it enough? Would I buy another bottle? I'd buy this to share with my wife on a Friday night. I think that's where that sits. 750 millilitres. I might even put it through the physics machine over there. 750 millilitre bottle, poured it through the physics on a Friday night. Good bit of fun. I use the physics machine only really for 750 millilitre bottles because it offers that chance for the chance of some quite interesting draft beer in a 750 millilitre bottle, and you're not having to overly clean, and it's a big bottle. It'll last you an hour or so. So rating for Core by Hackney Church Brew Co. 5.3% ABV. It's really interesting, and I hope you have the chance to try it yourselves, and I hope Hackney Church carry on their wild fermentation adventures. I like it enough to give it, I'm going to say, a 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom. Cheers.